What's happening, people? How the heck are ya? Who's ready? Who's ready for day 2 of the CRL Warmup tournament here in 2024? We started with 16 in this bracket. 4 got knocked out yesterday. 12 remain. Only one can be our champion and win $7,500. That's $7,500 for those of you not dialed in on the nomenclature. On the winner's bracket side, Clown, a.k.a. Kickash, against Vitor. Morton against Joy, also known as Mr. Cena. Number 2 in the world from last year, Pedro, up against Faust. And the 2022 world champion, Mohammed Light, facing off against Ta. That's all in our upper bracket. Waiting in the lower bracket to see who they'll face in elimination matches, you have Coco, Wallace, Adnan, and Adriel. Prize pool, $15,000 overall today. Well, this weekend. First place taking home $7,500. Second place with $3,500. $1,500 for third place. Fourth grabs $1,000. And top 8 gets you $500. So those 4 players waiting in the lower bracket, they're waiting to find out if they go home empty-handed or with a nice little chunk of change. But they have to wait to see who they will face in this first tournament of the year. We began with an open qualifier, or a series of open qualifiers back in February. From that, moved on to our group stage the last 2 weekends of this month. And from that, we got down to 16 players. Started yesterday in our double elimination bracket. Today, we'll whittle all the way down to our top 8. At the end of today, everyone remaining will be in the money. And then tomorrow, we're back to fight for the title. Fight for that grand prize. And let me tell you something, folks. It has been a wild tournament thus far. As you might imagine, double Evos means double insanity here in competitive Clash Royale. And we've seen some crazy comebacks, some big moments, and a whole lot of fun here yesterday. Let's take a look one more time at our winner's bracket and the matches that we're seeing today. We'll kick things off here with Clown versus Vitor, then go to Morton versus Joy. After that, we have Pedro and Faust, and then Mohammed Light and Ta. And then after that, we'll drop down into our lower bracket, and we'll see who gets KO'd today and who keeps their dreams alive. Now, keep in mind, folks, this is CRL Warmup. It says Warmup right there under the CRL logo. This is a preseason tournament. The official CRL season kicks off next month. And, of course, I hope to see you all there. We should be kicking things off here in just a moment. Our first match scheduled to go live here very soon. So as soon as we have it, we'll be heading on over to it. And MP, with a nice reminder here. Hey, everybody, guys, remember to open your Clash Royale app and put Rich in the content creator place. You're welcome, Rich. Hey, thank you, MP. Yes, if you are going to get buy anything inside of Clash Royale, Brawl Stars, Clash of Clans, Heyday, wherever you're making a purchase, if you use code RICH, that does support me, so that would be super nice. But you being here is nice enough. How many monthly finals? I believe, well, we're starting in April, so that sounds like 2 months less than we had last year. Rich, what's up, man? It's been a while. Had me thinking you retired. Nope, just took a break since in the offseason. Who do y'all think's going to be eliminated? Shelby, good question. Who do you think gets knocked out today? Of course, the people you saw on screen in this portion are all still in the winner's bracket. They have 2 lives to give. 2 lives to give. We still have Coco, Wallace, Adnan, and Adriel all down in the lower bracket side of things. And I am waiting for gameplay as soon as we have it. We should be getting some gameplay here very soon. And I will keep you guys posted as soon as I see something developing here. Is today the last day for this tournament? No, it is not. Tomorrow's the last day. This is 3 days for this bracket. Alex, imagine if someone make mid-ladder tournaments. Well, those happen on Twitch all the time. But cool for them. Not interesting for me, but, you know, people enjoy it, I guess. Let's go Morton, says Shelby. Like Mo and Basoto's second game when Muhammad Light made a great comeback when Tower's 400 HP. Yeah, that was a crazy one. That was a crazy one. Let me see if I have... I might have that replay somewhere here. Oh, no, that's not where I need to be. Let me go here and see if I still have that replay from yesterday. That was a fun one. Let me go ahead and try to find that as we are waiting for the matches to actually kick off here. I want to say that was here. Let's see if that's the correct one. I'm going to go ahead and just take a risk and see if that's it. Is that the... Nope, that's from a different game. Hold on. I didn't label them after the matches were over yesterday. This might be it. Nope, that's also from Ian and Wallace. Let's go ahead and see if maybe this one's it. Nope. Well, one of these days maybe I'll find that one. You know what? It doesn't matter because we finally have gameplay, folks. Let's jump into our first match of the day. Let me turn up... Don't mess with the volume too much. Hold on. The game volume is very low. There we go. So here we go. Vitor and Clown in our first match of the day. Why is it warm-up qualifier, not a regular qualifier? What's the point of it? Lets the winner get a ticket. Well, because it's not part of CRL. There are tournaments outside of CRL all the time. And this is just a outside-produced tournament, not produced by the official esports team. And just as a preseason tournament. These things happen. There's tournaments that are not CRL all the time throughout the year. Do I think team format should be back but an open format? Well, definitely not in an open format. I think that to actually do teams, you need to have solid organizational support. I think that team systems should be a closed league rather than an open league. And teams had their own issues too. But really, Clash Royale is a solo game. And keep in mind, folks, that the Cannoneer tower is banned for this competition. And good to see you, Rich M, in the building. Welcome back, Ethan Venison. And Evo RG as we go into double elixir time. Why didn't Moogie participate? Moogie rarely plays outside of CRL. I guess he plays some competitions in Japan, but he does not play a lot of the community events. Royal Giant just not quite able to do it, but the Evo recruits making a dash on the left-hand side. They're handled, but Vitor forced to spend like crazy there. And now a raged-up Royal Giant supported by some arrows will get a ton of damage, not to mention the damage on the left, and Vitor just took an absolute beating. He is still only 3 HP behind due to the damage on the left-hand side with the early mortar connection. But still damage done. And aggressive. Mortar's out of cycle. This is a good play here by Clown. He's able to get back to it in time. Did have to play quite a bit, and now that's going to be a lot of Evo RG shots. That should be the game here in number 1. No! The Guardian able to knock back the Royal Giant and keep Vitor alive for now. Fishboy perfectly placed and timed. Clown needs 2 more sets of arrows. Although that Archer Queen gets on tower and that's it. The dual lane pressure, too much for Vitor in this one. And Ethan, everyone, the Cannoneer is not banned because it's too good. The Cannoneer is banned because it's not actually available currently in in-game duels. And in-game duels is the format that will be used during CRL qualifiers. So since it's currently not available in in-game duels and this warm-up tournament is meant to mimic actual CRL as closely as possible, Cannoneer is banned just like it will not be available inside of the in-game duels. So there you go. What's your opinion on how Crown plays versus Kalalis? Clown. Clown's generally a phenomenal player. He was one of the more dangerous players against Mohamed Light last year, especially in outside of CRL competition. And let's see. Let me look at some other chat here. Can players use the same deck? No, we are in duel mode, just like in CRL. You may not repeat cards within a single best of 3. How do I get the CRL Spectator badge? Spectate CRL in the past when it was available. So there you go. I think that's the best one. Rich, what's your favorite card in Clash Royale? Who knows it? What's my favorite card in Clash Royale? Ice Golem. There you go. Rich, who is the highest rated player in Clash Royale history? By what metric, Dr. Odin? There's many metrics by which you can measure that. Surely they allow Cannoneer for actual CRL, no? Well, as far as I know at the moment, Cannoneer is not available to be used inside of in-game duels, and in-game duels are what they use during the CRL monthly qualifiers. So, I don't know. Boom. People hit it with the Ice Golem. That's what's up. DC the boss in the building. Will Cannoneer be available at World Finals? I have no idea. That's very far down the road. Stefan saying reverse sweep incoming. We'll see what happens. I want to see Mugi versus Mo for CRL this year. It's very likely to happen at some point. Yeah, some people know the truth. Ice Golem. Crunchy feet, please. Crunchy feet, please. Here we go. Game number 2. That does not look like the decks that either of these guys use. The API must be wrong. There we go. Now it catches up. And it's Clown going with Mortar. EQ out. Decent option. Bomber in the Evo spot for Vitor. And it's crazy to think that Evo Bomber is basically a win condition now. Look at that. Look at that aggressive at the bridge damage. You have to activate King Tower against that. You can't allow that gameplay to happen. And now it's Vitor's turn to get aggressive with Royal Giants and dual lane pressure. Stone Free asking, are there any card bans for this format? No, you simply cannot repeat cards in a single best of 3. So as you see the decks played on the left-hand side here, Vitor, those 8 cards you see unavailable for him for Game 2 and, if necessary, Game 3. Same thing for Clown's Royal Giant deck. An easy King Tower activation here for Vitor. That Ghost will require a response, and the Knight comes out to take care of business Phoenix will get death damage, but no more on the right-hand side as we are a little bit into double elixir time, and these Royal Giants continue to pester Clown. And here goes. The Evo Royal Giant might have to NATO this back, and he does. Is Mortar in cycle for this? It is. But still, look at the elixir expenditure required out of Clown just to survive a little extra, and still gives up 2 Royal Giant shots after all of that. And RG rules the day here in our opening best of 3. Unless a meltdown happens on Vitor's side, this should leave us with a pretty simple 1-1 tie. And there you have it. GG, well played. Game number 3 on its way here. Next matchup after this one, for those of you who are curious, Morton versus Droy. Droy, as you might know, also known as Mr. Cena. Did make the monthly finals once last year. That one coming up next. Right now, though, we have our final matchup, or our final game here, of Clown and Vitor. Clown really had a breakout year last year. I mean, he's been a solid player for a long time. You know, I've known him as Kick-Ash beforehand. But 2023 for Clown was really something special. Won a few weeks of Royale Masters. Did really, really well in a couple seasons last year. Had a global tournament win. Had some good performances overall in CRL. Where did he finish last year? He actually ended up finishing, I want to say, like just a couple of points. Yeah, he finished number 18 on the leaderboard. Remember, top 14 made it. So he was just like a couple of points out of making it to World Finals last year. Not to mention what he did in team competition in things like GKR, Supremacy League, was just phenomenal and ended up really being the bane of some other players' existence in some of those matchups. Rhinocraft saying looking good, Rich. There you go. Rich, where is Boss? I'm assuming at his house. I don't know. Maybe somewhere else. Ashraf saying, hey, Rich, I'm watching the stream on my TV and my sister's trying to steal the remote from me. Can you personally tell her to stop? Ashraf's sister, how about you guys work out a deal where he gets to watch this for a little while and then you choose something later? That's called compromise. Why don't you two shake hands and make an agreement on how you'll distribute the television time? That, or go outside and let your brother watch this silly game and, I don't know, go play a sport or something. Stop fighting, kids. My prediction for reverse sweep is one step closer, says Stefan. There you go. Can I see your eyes? That's very rude. I have no eyes. Why are you making me feel so bad? Is this the last day? No. Tomorrow is our last day here. And here is our last game of this best of 3. Is Mo Light richer than Mr. Beast? Absolutely not. And there is a lower bracket, Mohammed. We just aren't looking at it right now because we are in the upper bracket portion. So, a close to mirror match here in our final game. You can see one big difference here. The barb barrel already used by Clown, so he's using log. The log already used by Vitor, so he's using barb barrel. I would rather have Log here. Interesting choice to be running Zap for Vitor, but without the evolved version going Evo Bats, Evo Wall Breakers. Let's look to see if any creative uses of Zap come out from Vitor for some retargeting. But a really excellent connection there. Warmup does not provide points for CRL. It is a warm-up. It is a preseason tournament. And the big connection for Clown. Drill has become a real problem as of late. We have seen a bit of a Drill resurgence in recent days. And I do see a lot of pro players saying maybe it's a bit too powerful at the moment. The buff definitely turning it, not only the buff to Drill, but then the buff to Drill-friendly cards as well. Evo Wall Breakers in behind the Mega Knight. And not much that Clown can do there. Vitor just runs right through that tower. The Drill gets picked up easily by the Dark Prince. Can the Wall Breakers get through? They cannot. Vitor with the Vamos. GG, well played. Vitor moving on to the winner's bracket. Clown will be facing elimination in a match against Coco later today. Very, very well played by Vitor in that one, who was looking for a chance to break through and rode the back of that Mega Knight. Let's take a look, folks, at the replay. You see the Wall Breakers come down, Mega Knight in deep, and just not much at that point that Clown could do. And that Drill comes out front. You know, maybe a Drill to the side to get the Goblins to spawn out the back would have been the only other play here. Dark Prince right there gets it done. And that's it for our first match of the day. Coming up next, Morton and Droy. In just a couple of minutes. Then, of course, Pedro Faust, Muhammad Light Ta. And then down to our elimination bracket. A little bit after that one. They might be showing us that bracket here in a second. You can see Vitor moving on to our final four. We will see him again tomorrow. Vitor can take the rest of the day off now. After finishing things off so nicely. As you see here, Tesla, the Dark Prince distracted, but Tesla just not ready as it was already gone. And at that point, Clown just going, hey, maybe I could try to get it back. Not going to get it back. GG, well played. Vamos for Vitor. So we are now going to be waiting for our next matchup here. Lucky saying, I could smoke any of these guys. Well, lucky for you, Lucky, because, hey, guess what? Clash Royale Esports is completely open to everyone to play. So CRL this year, there are 5, I believe, monthly qualifiers this year where you can, all you have to do, Lucky, being such a great player you are, which will take no luck, obviously, is for you to make top 1,000 on Path of Legends. And then that makes you qualify into the Swiss bracket phase, where then you'll play probably about 10 or so matches. And if you're one of the top players from that, then you move on into our group phase, right? I think it's top 32. Move on to our group phase. And if you win your group, then you make it to the monthly final with the top 8, where if you win that, you get a golden ticket to World Finals, and you win a ton of cash. So, Lucky, don't wait anymore. go win all this easy money. Here we are with Droy against Morten. And Ghost one card away, so Mega Knight comes out for the drill here. Stefan saying he predicted a reverse sweep. Well played. A little sloppy maybe with the miner there to get NATO'd for an early King Tower activation. Maybe Morton's not worried about the King Tower. Starfruit Ninja asking, I wonder if you could recommend any apps or Discord servers to look at when it comes to competing in Clash Royale tournaments. Yes. First and foremost, follow on Twitter, a.k.a. X. You can follow Revel Amar. There's also a Discord server that is great for where a lot of the, especially in this tournament as well, a lot of the big community tournaments are posted inside. I'll link it right now in the chat. There's the Discord server that connects to this contest and others like it. So there you go. Multiple open tournaments a year are all, the information happens on that Discord server. These ranked, that's a good question about the ranked. These numbers are what your rating is inside of the ranked system on Path of Legends. So they don't tell you what their rank is. They tell you what rating they've gotten, how many trophies they've gotten inside of ranked, a.k.a. Path of Legends. A little Fire Spirit pressure as we go into sudden death overtime. Things fairly close, about 160 between these two. And that Mighty Miner just ends up being food for Morten as he now gets in a little bit deep. Double Teslas. The Zap finally comes out. It is the Evolved Zap. One Wall Breaker able to break through and forces out the log. Look at the elixir difference now. Morten way ahead. Final 60 seconds. Triple elixir. Ghost played in a funky spot for the drill, so Mega Knight comes out on the back end. Good hedge there by Morten. Evo Tesla doing its job. Wallbreaker does not connect on the right-hand side. The Evo Zap in now for some damage. See if Morten now begins to cycle those zaps. Ghost this time on the drill, but a good NATO to pull away. Gets some extra damage, 1428 to 1538. Miner needs to come in here for Morten, but he does have to protect himself against these goblin drills, and more damage in from the goblins. 1238 down to 1163, 1217. No! Big hit for Morten on the left-hand side. 15 seconds left, 949 to 1163. Where's the drill for Droy? Where's the drill for Droy? He can't get it. Wall breakers go brrr, and there you go. 352. Morten going to take game number one after a tight final 30. Up one. The longtime veteran. And Morten really able to put the pressure on there in the end as he bracketed those drill pushes, making sure they really didn't have a chance to do a lot. There were a couple moments where it looked like things might get dicey, and here's one of them where Morton is up with the final 15 seconds here. Oh, this is actually a little bit later. And this is after avoiding the big danger. And at that point, you saw that Droy just couldn't get back on offense. He'd had 2 drill pushes that were really frightening for Morton. But the Evo Zap is serious business, folks. It is no joke. Well played, Morton. Even matchup, says Adil Nassar. Droy looks like a great guy, said Omar. Yeah, Droy seems cool. When we interviewed him once after he won a Snapdragon Pro Series event, that was pretty cool. How do you get the CRL 2024 badge? Don't ask me. I have no idea. How's Juicy J doing? Last I talked to him, doing fine. The in-game sound is way too shushy. What does shushy mean? Like it's too quiet? What does shushy mean? That is very weird. I've never heard that word before in my life. Here we go. Let's go into game number 2. I'm going to assume that shushy means like quiet. All right, I brought the game volume up a little bit. Let me know if that's a better balance here. Oh, it was Bruzani I interviewed. You're right. Good memory there, Jeff. I've interviewed Droy at some point. I don't remember where, though. But you're right. It was Bruzani. Andy Volton. Shushy. Sushi. Very funny. Little GY graveyard in for Droy. Morton. Going to have a lot of tools to contend with that. With an Evo Valk, NATO, Poison, Exy, Electro Spirit. Wireley said, I've heard Igor's coming back to CRL. I hope. That would be great. Wait, ESL does CRL tournaments? They did the last few years. I don't know if they're doing any this year. But yes, they do have, they did the Snapdragon Pro Series the last couple of years. And drill out. And that's a nice little zap. It won't get anything else for it. A nice little Electro Spirit. Is Morton streaming to talk to himself, says Jeff Winston. I believe Morton is streaming. He usually does stream during these tournaments, which I always find just fascinating. Graveyard in, tank is up, and the Exy goes down. Poison has to come out. That's going to be good damage here, though. Look at that Evo Archer, and Morton so annoyed that he has to use the NATO to pull that away. Just like that, Droy takes a massive lead as we go into sudden death overtime. And that Executioner getting wiped off the board might be the thing that wins this one for Droy. And now Morton forced to really spend a lot on defense here into the graveyard lane. Notice also no champion for Morton here too. So when you're talking about trying to out-cycle, it gets, while he does have a more cycly deck with the spirits, with the spirit and the skeletons, trying to out-cycle here is really challenging for him. And that's got to be the win right here for Droy. A close one, too. Morton had something going on, but didn't have enough to do both the offense and the defense in that moment. And you saw him there maybe a little like, come on. Let's take a look at the moment that changed everything here. You see the Evo skeletons come out high, then the Exy, and both the Evo Knight and the Evo Archer on the Executioner, so it just gets evaporated. The poison comes out here a little bit late, Snowball slows, and the Evo Archer just completely able to shoot with impunity at that tower. And there was not much that Morton could do in that moment. Let's see. Mo versus Morton be legendary? We've seen it. We've seen it many times. Morton talking to his coach? Maybe. I don't know. I'm assuming he's either talking to his coach or he's on stream. I think Morton is strategizing, either thinking Sam lane or up outside, and I think Joy hard counters. That was a hard one for him. Buller just slays drill, so 100-0 matchup for Joy ammo. Well, it was hard to outcycle when your opponent's playing a champion and you're not. Right? Your opponent has 3-card cycle, you don't. That does make things pretty difficult. Should have put Exy directly on the Evo Archer. Then the Evo Knight would have been on tower, though. So what do you do there, right? You had to stop the Evo Knight from getting the tower and getting all that damage. Here we go looking at the lower bracket. As you see, we do have one player on the lower bracket side. From today, Clown facing Adriel. That's a banger of a matchup. Man, of all the guys to drop down and face, that's a tough one. Clown pulling the Adriel matchup. Coco, Wallace, and Adnan all waiting for their opposites. Lost Piece saying that Morton is streaming on Twitch. There we go. Beast Variant saying your specs are awesome, bro. Where'd you get them? Gooder, Goodr. The longtime favorite of my sunglasses. They're like 25 bucks a pair. There's like 1,000 styles. They're great. And they stick to your head nicely. So if you want to wear something while you're playing sports, that's what they're made for. Don't touch grass, folks. Here we go. Game number 3. No surprises here. Wall breakers making it into the mix for Droy. Morton without wall breakers. Is Golem the worst deck to play? Golem's pretty bad. Folks, is the game sound... Let me do a... I'll do a little poll here. Let me do a little poll here. Game sound. Too low. I'm going to do a little poll. Too high. Or perfect. Let's say it just right. Here you go. There's a poll. Everyone can officially weigh in on the game sound. And then I will adjust accordingly based on the results. Rich, do I think someone will use 2.6 Hog? No, I do not, because it's bad. Lumberloon for Morton. This is fun. Tesla out. Bomb Tower in. But Bomb Tower, Poison, Ice Spirit. You have to assume that Droy is running something that's got some range to it in that last spot. So 52% of you are saying that the game sounds too low. I'll bump it up a tiny bit. There you go. Too low. I turned it up just a tiny bit. I turned it up a smidge. So it's not too loud for the Just Riders. Connection here from the Royal Recruit. And shout out to OP Mod Sandy, longtime mod on the channel. Super helpful, super cool. And Wallbreaker does not connect. Lots of thickness on the board right now. Double bar barrels. That Loon might get death damage. I don't think it's dropped, though. Yep, just death damage here. Wallbreakers, a problem here for Morton, who's trying to fight through Poison Archer Queen Bomb Tower, Ice Spirit. Devlop in the building. 6 Loon is an interesting choice here for Morton. Oh, man, that Evo Zap is a problem, too. And so far, Morton has not been able to get away for anything to tank effectively for the balloon in the long term. A lot of people saying they don't play with game audio when they play Clash Royale. I totally do. The reason I play with game audio is so that I get the information that the game audio gives me. Right? So I don't have to look. I can be focused on my defense, for example, but I hear the drop sound for an important troop, and I don't have to look up to see what's happening. I can actually just go, oh, I heard this drop come down. Now I have that information. Oh, boy. Evo Zap, the MVP in this one. And Joy will take the win. Morton down to the lower bracket. Game audio helps so much with drop sounds. Yeah, I mean, I think that while I have often played with no game sound for a wide variety of reasons, having game sound on, especially, yep, the minor sound, super helpful. Droy in to our semifinals. He'll face Vitor tomorrow. Don't worry, Morton fans. Morton is still in. He's down, but not out. We are in double elimination, so we'll see Morton play one more time today, where I believe he'll play against Adnan. So a German versus German matchup. Sound is good, especially for Mega Knight, says Saisho. Game audio definitely helps. Yeah, now we're not talking about the current volume anymore, folks. We're just talking about, do you play with game audio? And yeah, I think, especially talking about, you're playing against Drill, you're playing against Miner, you're playing against a lot of those troops, like win conditions that take a while to get across the board. You're focused on defense over here or on offense over here, and then a Miner comes in, it's coming to this way, and you just hear it, and then you can react as opposed to having to make sure your vision is on the whole board at the same time. So there you go. Let's see. Morton keeps playing disadvantage, plays twice without champion. Yeah, interesting he played twice without champion. Not entirely sure what the choice was there. This background is better than your studio, Rich? I don't know. I like my studio better. But here we are. Nadon saying, Rich, big fan. What's up? How are you? What do you think is the best deck in the game? No deck. Mega Draft. Playing with game sound is really important because you can't focus on everything at once, especially in double elixir. Hearing those troops helps a ton. For many people, yeah. I've been burning people hiding Skelly Bros behind balloons, that sort of thing. Interesting. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Thank you, Sandy. Let's go ahead and jump into our next matchup. Faust and Pedro. 2 world finalists. Pedro came out of the hardest group at World Finals. I picked him to get knocked out early because his group was insane with Morton, Samuel Basoto, and Ruben. And Pedro came out of it in phenomenal form. So maybe another 6-loon variant out of Pedro. This one with an Archer Queen. Or is this Graveyard? Again, though, I'm catching up to this warm-up tournament is as much for me as it is for the players. I'm trying to catch up to this new meta. To the double Evo all insanity meta. Some people say no in-game sound, just Spotify, just rocking to some music. If you're just vibing, that can work too. GY in for Faust. And that's a lot of damage. Everything distracted. The archers not able to do their job, and that is way more damage than I think Pedro anticipated giving up on that push. Archer Queen getting tanked for, and what a wild exchange. We're going to go ahead and pull the replay here because that back and forth was just nonsense. Evo Archers at range, so Giant will get shredded. Little Prince should get pulled in by the Fish Boy, and he does. Evo Archers stay alive to complete the defense, and now it's Goblin Giant in. When you're defending bats, Goblin Giant with bats, you know you're in trouble. Maybe Faust hoping they would lock first, but the damage was too low. Here we go. I think Faust would have been better served just sacking that tower and going all in. And now you got to think about it, right? That 2 elixir might have been enough to help break through and get the win or get the tower down. Instead, he spent it with the bats and ended up in a tough situation. Let's go ahead and queue up a little replay of the back and forth that ended up being the really decisive moment in this match. Here we go. So you see the Giant bowler push in with the Graveyard. The Archers just kind of getting a little bit distracted here. You know, you'd think those Archers would have done more to stop the Graveyard, but not quite able to. Then you see the opposite direction. Queen goes invisible, and just the perfect timing, the rage, and she stays invisible long enough to get tanked for and turn that thing back around. So great sequence for Pedro in reply. Let's look one more time. The Princess is on the Giant, but yeah, these Archers, you know what's happening is the Archers are all targeting the same skeleton the entire time. If you look at that more closely, they're targeting the same skeleton each time. You need those Archers to get different focuses, and they don't, hence all that damage. But it doesn't matter when you time that Queen ability perfectly. Bip, bop, boop, bye-bye tower. Here we go into the lower bracket, as Morton did drop down into our lower bracket. We'll see this matchup later today, where he will face Adnan. Loser of this one will face Wallace in an elimination match today. The bowler got 4 shots lined up. I need to look at that one more time. Anand Singh, do you have any information about the population of the game right now? Popular of the game. Yes, the game is more popular than Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. How about that? Comment of the day so far. Just know if you morphed into a worm, I'd still love you, Rich. Comment of the day. These warm-ups have no impact on CRL. This is a separate tournament, a preseason tournament. Will we see the Wallace match in lower bracket today? Yes, we will. We'll see 4 lower bracket matchups today. It is interesting how much Evos have brought Valk back into the meta, who was so key to the game for so long and then had a period of relative inactivity. And now Evos have put the Valkyrie right back in it. Oh, EQ's going to miss the bomb tower here. Just get the firecracker. No good for Faust. And he'll take burn the opposite direction. You see the look on his face there. Just a little unhappy with himself. Realizing he could have done more. And NATO has to come out as that Hog was about to sneak right on past that bomb tower. Pedro, beautiful defense and recovery there after that Hog Rider nearly turned into a huge problem. This time, let's see if there's a little difference in attack here for Faust, and there isn't. Goblin does not get on tower. Mortar does not get on tower. 80 seconds left. Lead for Pedro, if you look at that top left tower, 1654 to 2329. Faust has to find a way to break past this. Does he start doing EQ cycle? And here we go. Lots of ground to make up still for the German, but starting to put that pressure on. Valk picks up the drill. Hog not going to get there. NATO plus bomb tower. It is so hard to break through. Need to keep doing those Hogs to force the defenses out, but of course that NATO is a +1 trade against the Hog every single time. You're just hoping your opponent makes a mistake and you open up enough room to get those logs and earthquakes on the tower. 35 seconds left, 1571 to 1739. Log in for Faust. Fire Spirit behind. Gets the Firecracker off the board, does not break on through though. Drill going to be taken care of by the guards and the log, but that means no log on offense. 15-19, Hog in, high bomb tower here. Evo Skelly's going to work. 15-46, top left-hand side, 13 seconds left. Lead for Faust ever so slightly. The NATO pulls back, Goblins get on tower. Faust needs to get a lot of damage very quickly, but he knows the math just isn't there for him. GG, well played. Pedro, 2 up, 2 down. Nicely done for last year's World Finals #2. Let's go take a look at the final moments here where Faust did take the lead ever so briefly. And you see this pressure Hog here. The high bomb tower takes care of business though. And the bomb tower played by Faust just gets played right into, or the mortar, right into the bomb tower and right into that Evo Skelly's, and that means easy lineup. Let's look at that one more time here. You know, see, keep an eye on the middle of the screen here, folks, as this mortar comes out. Well, that mortar, too much stuff looking at it. That mortar's not going to hold anything where it is. He needed to play that lower, I think. He wasn't going to get pressure from that mortar. So he just gets a mortar that's going to get killed easily by the bomb tower. The log behind on the drill push. Evo Valk is there. Evo Valk gets NATO'd away. And then when the Evo Valk comes up, there's no distraction for that Firecracker. Damage already in here. And that was just icing on the cake for Pedro. GG, well played. And as you can see now, Pedro moving on to our semifinals. Faust will drop down and face Wallace later today. So there you have it, folks. 3 matches done. Eliminations coming up soon, but next up, Mohamed Light and Ta. Well done, everyone. Let's see, where is... Give me 1 second, folks. Looking for something here. Oh, never mind. Let's go into our last upper bracket matchup of the day. Well, I like going to RG, and RG aggressive here to kick things off. And E-Giant set up into the weak side lane by Ta.
Excuse me, don't you know who I am?
We do know who you are. You are the most obnoxious character in the game. Tin Ka asking, why is Mo laughing? Because Mo's always laughing during these matches. A lot of it is his coaches and friends cracking jokes in their chat. Keeping him relaxed, keeping him chill and focused. Who you got in this one, folks? Mo or Ta? Let me know in the chat. Ooh, great NATO out of Ta there. Very nicely done. Got it at just the right time. Had plenty of elixir to do it. Creative. Mo was confident there in that moment, right? Fisherman had enough to work against the Knight and then turn and get the Electro Giant. Lightning certainly going to be a factor here as well. Currently the lead for Mohamed Light, 1438 to now 1592. Mohamed changes lanes into his weak side now. Now the dual lane pressure. And this is a full send here with the Royal Ghost plus Evo Bats. Evo Bats going to do a lot of damage here onto that Evolved Knight. Royal Ghost chunks down that tower to 655. Lead Mohamed as we pass the first 90 seconds of sudden death. Or the first 30 seconds of sudden death. GG, well played. Fourth match of the day. Started things off with Clown versus Vitor. Vitor taking the dub there. Droy with the come-from-behind win against Morton. Then Pedro, domination against Faust. Muhammad Light Ta, the matchup now. We still do have 4 matchups after this one. 4 elimination matches. That will be fun for us to watch. Folks, if you are interested in supporting me, one way you can do it is check out my new channel. If you enjoy disc golf or just enjoy listening to me talk or think you might enjoy disc golf, I have a new channel just linked there in the chat right now one more time. That's all about the Disc Golf Pro Tour. It's fantasy disc golf. My friend and I, we pick teams each week during the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We duel it out, and we're also getting ready to launch free fantasy disc golf for our viewers, where you can win cool disc golf stuff by playing alongside us. So if you want to give it a check, want to give it a look, go ahead, check it out. Subscribe to that channel if you like it. But hopefully you do enjoy Hold My Bag Disc Golf. A totally different thing, kind of a passion project for me. And this is kind of a year of doing some fun passion projects. I have an announcement I'm going to be making fairly soon about a new thing I'm embarking on. I teased it on Twitter yesterday. But yeah, it's going to be a fun year with some new exciting stuff. Of course, more Clash Royale esports will be here on the channel throughout the year, not just this tournament, more community tournaments, CRL qualifiers as we lead up to our CRL monthly finals will be here as well. So lots of fun stuff here on the channel, but new things I'm embarking on this year as well, which is pretty fun as well. Let's see. Already subbed to your disc golf channel already. Thank you, Sandy. Mwah. Much love. Clash is like a dictatorship and Mo is the leader. Interesting way to put it. Here we go. Game number 2. Thanks to Vlop. And yes, I have my laptop and then 2 monitors and my lights. Good looking into my mirror, into my glasses there, newbie. This specific Clash Royale song sounds like it was scored by John Williams, the famous film score composer. Like, it sounds like it would be a song that was in Home Alone. Stank Buddy saying, Rich, any tips for a disc golf beginner? Yes. Drive for show, putt for dough. Yes, it's important to learn how to throw the disc far and accurately, but putting is where you will gain the most strokes early on. Also, have fun. It's throwing frisbees. Bye, Devlop. Good to see you here. Why Baby Dragon is blue? You know what? I don't know. What happened to that Baby Dragon? What did you do to the Baby Dragon? What did you do to the Baby Dragon? Why is the Baby Dragon blue? Did someone freeze the Baby Dragon? Did you spill ink on the Baby Dragon? Lots of heavy decks here from Ta as he goes from E-Giant to what it looks like Royal Giant here. Ludwig Göransson CR audio would go so hard. I think that would be, I've been saying for a long time, I wish CR had more varied music. And you could unlock different music. You know, they had the cool, that like rock theme that came out when EVOs first came out, which I thought was really cool. It would be cool if they had guest artists do their own takes on the CR theme. Right? Like, Get LP to do a CR theme version of his beat. Get Benny Benassi to do one. That sort of thing. Get Korn to do one and drop D. Throwback. 90 seconds left. Mo just in firm control, although starting to give up some damage. It's Wide Eyes Blue Dragon. Hilarious. Hilarious. Mother Witch doing work on the left-hand side. Right-hand side, Evo Skelly's a little bit late. And the Evo Skellies versus Mother Witch battle is always fun. "35 seconds left. This is a dangerous moment here for Mohamed. Gets it back to the Tesla. That Evo RG was quite threatening. Second Royal Giant down. Skellies plus Poison. And Log able to hold here. Tesla and Log and Mohamed Light. Holds up against the onslaught. Was a fairly threatening bit of attack on the side of Ta. But as expected, Mo's defense pristine. Let's take a look at the final attack and the defense by Mohamed Light. He got in here pretty deep. This Tesla goes down, but Mohamed Light doing a good job of just cycling back to that second Tesla. You're going to see Log play, the Valk working on the left-hand side, Log plus Skellies doing just enough, plus the Poison. Now back to Tesla once more. You saw the arrows from Ta trying to do enough to break through, but just not quite. And that's when you see Ta go, all right, that's over. That's it. So there you have it. Final four in the upper bracket. Vitor versus Droy and Pedro versus Mohamed. Those matches will be tomorrow. Of course, we still have 4 more matches today. We'll go into the lower bracket here and do some eliminations. That's right. Some eliminations coming. People will get knocked out. Lives will be changed. Trajectories will be rearranged. I'm waiting to see if they will show us the lower bracket, which they won't in a second. Morton versus Clown will not be the next matchup. Here we go. Finally, lower bracket. Adriel and Clown, I believe, will be our... I thought that was going to be our next matchup. They have Coco versus Ta as the next matchup, which would be weird for Ta to go from game to game. So I'll keep you posted on how that develops. But there's our 4 lower bracket matchups. We're going to be doing those here in just a couple minutes. Coco versus Ta, Wallace versus Faust, Adnan and Morton, and Adriel and Clown. These will be the matchups today. And again, folks, I enjoy having you here. If you're enjoying the channel, if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel and you like Clash Royale Esports, this is one of the best places for Clash Royale Esports. Cast a lot of the live tournaments like this one. Cast a lot of one-off events that I pre-record here with some pros, showcase matches, things like that. And, of course, some of the qualifier stages of Clash Royale League are here as well. So really a fun place for Clash Royale esports overall. If you want to support me further than that, you could, of course, use code RICH in the shop for whatever Supercell game you're using. But even better would be, go ahead and join the new channel for Disc Golf. Let's go ahead and jump into our first elimination match of the day. Coco and Ta. Your accent is amazing, says Dark Opera COC Gaming. Okay, thank you. Never heard that before. This is Warmup. When is CRL happening? In April. Oh, that's a good reflection, but also a King Tower activation. Interesting. Like I said, this is a warm-up for me too. I took a little sabbatical for a couple of months from CR stuff. So you're like, oh, gonna get some good Evo Bomber action. And you're like, the reflection, oh, that's nice. And then, no, the reflection's not nice. It is a King Tower activation. And Ta just firing right back and getting a ton of damage against Coco. Glizzy in the house, welcome. What's going on? People are playing Clash Royale competitively. Now your comments have shown up there, Tanning. Free fireball for Coco with that one. This match is the first of our lower bracket matches today. One more defense needed here to sew this one up. Fireball in. Evo RG looking for one more. Can it do it? No, it cannot. Woo! That was a little tighter than it felt. That seemed like it was going to be a blowout, and Coco almost made that very interesting at the end. Remember, this is the elimination side of the bracket, so either Coco or Ta will go home. Right now it's Coco who's up against it. RG Rage combo is very strong right now. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Eclipsey saying pause. Pause what? Pause what? Eclipsey. Coco's been kind of right on the edge in this game for quite a long time. You know, you look at Coco's history in the game, and you see a lot of close calls, but not a lot of dubs. Right? You see Coco getting into, in 2021, making third in a CRL monthly final, getting third at DreamHack Barcelona last year. Some regional play that was successful, but not quite able to turn it into true international success. Top 40 in CRL last year. Top 65 in CRL 2021. And that's a fascinating thing, right? To be a top 100 player but just be kind of stuck in the middle of that top 100. I wonder what the missing piece is. I will say this, it does seem like most of the top players are really, really good have a really solid deck pool and are able to play cycle decks with crazy high level skill and then play the beatdown stuff, the heavy stuff at good moments. Whereas Coco has leaned towards heavy decks quite consistently. Harshit asking how's Hold My Bag going. It's off to a good start. Up to 72 subscribers on that channel, which is pretty good for a brand new channel. Thank you. I like my glasses too. I haven't checked on the gooder code actually. 6 Loon here for Ta. Probably going to see the first balloon maybe on our next recruit cycle. Thank you, Stuffed Royale Corporation. Appreciate it. We are in double. I'm expecting to see the Loon come maybe behind this boulder, but I would think he would get a set of recruits down first. Now that Tesla's been played, here we go. Split 3-3 in the back. Evo archers to work on the... Oh, and he's not happy about all the archers going to that one side. It's a lot of poison value. Yeah, you see Ta unhappy there. So he's going to hold off on dropping the balloon. Bowler left-hand side, Coco. So far, pitching a perfect game. No touches, not this Gob Giant. Well, Bo, like I said, I have been taking a sabbatical for a couple of months. So this warm-up is as much for me as it is for the players. I have essentially not been playing much since double Evos, but now is when I begin my prep for the CRL season. And you're right, there it is, Gob Giant. I would have hoped that the Goblin Giant nerf would have been enough to kill Goblin Giant decks. But unfortunately, has not. That's a lot of Evo Archer damage. And DC with the nope, it is still viable, unfortunately. Well, I'm not unhappy to see it maybe take an L here. Dangerous push. Fisherman does pull. 20 seconds left. Rage in the Gob Giant. Bowler behind. Does the Bowler get on tower? Bowler does not. Gets distracted. And that should be enough. Oh boy, wait a second. Oh boy, wait a second. Did I just caster curse this? I did. I did caster curse this. And Coco plays a great game for, well, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. But you got to play 5 minutes, folks. You got to play 5 minutes of great Clash Royale. And Coco runs out of steam just a little bit early. Here you go, the replay. Coco way ahead, but look at this push. Goblin Giant, Bowler. Fisherman does not get distracted. Raged up Goblin Giant just opens up that tower. And then these wall breakers distract the Bowler for a second. But the Tesla does not hold. Fireball breaks open the door. And that's Coco out. Very well played by Ta, who will move on into our top 8. Guaranteed money now, $500. And Coco eliminated. Bye-bye, Coco. Well played, Ta. Even if you did it with the Goblin Giant. I guess I can overlook that. Is RG Bowler good right now? I'm still learning I'm still catching up to the current meta, folks. But RG's everywhere. We saw RG Giant Skeleton yesterday. Why do I dislike Goblin Giant so much? Because it promotes a very basic level of gameplay, kind of a uninteresting style of gameplay. It synergizes primarily with what I would consider to be lower skill cap cards. And the Goblin Giant strength usually, in particular, really impacted the results in CRL late last year. I just think that Goblin Giant, especially Goblin Giant Rage, does not promote high-quality gameplay and forces people to game plan for it too much. At least now it's been nerfed enough that it's not in every single duel set. But overall, Goblin Giant Rage is just low-skill, promotes low-skill gameplay and kind of requires extra game planning when you're talking about dual deck sets, just in case you face that specifically. Same can be said for RG and E-Giant. RG's a little bit too strong right now, for sure. I don't think E-Giant's that strong right now, but I could be wrong. If anything, Recruits... No, I think Recruits... I would honestly say... you're making the same thing I've said a million times there, Bo. I would vault Recruits if I could. I think Recruits is probably the one of the, if not the... like, there are a few cards that I would vault. I would vault Barb Hut. I would vault Recruits. And you're making the exact point there that Recruits has... There is no... You almost... The only thing you can misplay on Recruits is what time you play them. But you're 1,000% right. Recruits are also insanely low skill cap. Any card where you have almost no choices to play, and that's why I do think Recruits and Barb Hut both kind of sit on that list for me, is the how you play them is so limited, right? With Barb Hut, you play it in the middle, or you play it middle. Barb Hut, you play it middle left or middle right, and every once in a while in the corner behind your tower. I also don't love Goblin Hut for the same reason, but Barb Hut is one when Barb Hut is strong, it's really bad for the game. And same thing with Recruits. Recruits, you have so few. I think that Recruits need a rework where they would be fewer cards with a smaller spread and more different ways to play them. King Tower activation there for Faust. This is fascinating. They should start rotating cards like Hearthstone does. They can't fully... The big problem is that people invest time and money in leveling cards, so that if their cards get... They can't vault cards for that reason, right? Reworks are kind of what their solution has been, but I would not mind a card rotation, although I think that would be a very unpopular move, as players would go, wait a second, I only have one deck and you just rotated 3 of my cards out, I can't play this month, right? So I think that would be a really unpopular move, even if I think it would be healthy for the game long term. Triple Elixir coming. So far, so good for Wallace, but we have seen these Royal Giant Ghost decks break away. What we haven't seen is Ghost being really effective for Faust defensively here against these drill pushes. But with 40 seconds left, Faust sets up the Evolved Royal Giant behind King Tower. And is certainly rotating around. Does he go 2 lanes or does he go double down in the same lane? Here he goes, 2 lanes, 25 seconds left. Evo Skellies get raged off the board. NATO pulls back. Evolve to RG on the right-hand side. Does not go to Tesla. Key shots here, but they will not be enough, I don't believe, to take the lead back. 10 seconds left, and Faust going to be left wanting here in game number 1. As Wallace plays a gem, takes a good win. Tomorrow, Vitor Joy, Pedro Mohamed Light in our winner bracket. Winners of those 2 will be in the upper bracket finals. Of course, we are currently in our lower bracket portion of the competition. Looking at some chat here. In my opinion, 3 Musk is an unbalanced card fundamentally because it's 2 reference. I mean, it'd be nice if they split it away from the Musketeers so the balances didn't affect one or the other. But also, yeah, you might be a little bit biased as a Lava player, but no one really runs 3M right now. But 3M is another card that should be underpowered most of the time. And that is a challenge too. I think Firecracker needs a nerf. Maybe, I don't know. I think people tend to think a card that counters their favorite deck should be nerfed. Right? Like, oh, this is way too powerful. Why? Well, because it ruins the thing I like to play. Rich, you think that Little Prince and Evolved Bomber need 1 more nerf? Probably. But again, I think that one of the optics challenges that the team has faced is that, you know, they don't want to nerf a card too much. They don't want to over-nerf a card and kill it, right? So what they do is they incrementally nerf it, but then from an optics standpoint, the casual players go, you already nerfed it 2 times. Why are you nerfing it a 3rd time? The optics are all very difficult to work through for people's response. Hi, Rich. Does Wallace know Jiu-Jitsu? I don't know. I've never asked him. Remember, if you people coming into the game without doing enough to keep the game fresh, now they're coming in, it's kind of unpredictable, can't be pleased. Well, I think that there's like kind of what's the amplitude, right? I personally think we did not need tower troops, and that they should have just let Evos settle and figure that out before they introduce tower troops. I think tower troops are introduced too quickly. I also just think that tower troops are not necessary in general. I don't like them as an addition to the game. They change like a fundamental constant that I think should remain. But especially introducing them when we were still so new to Evos and still adding in more, I think that they were also too many changes too quickly, is what I would say. That's my personal perspective. Why is Elixir Golem hardly played in competitive? Because it's bad. There you go. And this is an interesting perspective from Starfruit Ninja. A nerf can give a card a bad reputation even if it still being a strong card after the nerf. Yeah. And people will say, like, I think a lot of people respond because they're used to a card being OP, and then when it gets nerfed, they go, oh, well, you killed it. Especially casual players that they don't, like, really understand the game. They're used to a card just being super crazy, and then when a card is properly balanced and normal, or just not as crazy, they think that it's dead. That Supercell killed it, which is not the case necessarily, especially with a card like Evo Knight or Goblin Giant. I don't mind the pace of new cards being added. Yo-Yo making that point here, but I think I think they should have let Evos be the thing for a little while longer. And again, I don't like Tower Troops being a thing, but definitely I think Tower Troops were introduced a little fast for my taste. Will these bats survive and almost get through the poison? Not quite. Doesn't matter. Giant gets on tower and takes the lead for Wallace, 1858 to 2542. Wallace opening things up here as we go into double. And Wallace finally getting the graveyard in the mix. Drill getting a bit more here than I think Wallace anticipated. Faust now only about 500 behind. Look on that left-hand side. A little closer here, a little less than 400. Final 2 minutes here, and Drill starting to become a problem. And that Dark Prince going to get a lot to look at. Will he stop the wall breakers? No, he will not. Faust takes a chunk out of that one, 965. But Dark Prince goes coast to coast, full space ghost, lead back. 90 seconds left. You see both guys kind of taking moments here. And just letting the damage come in, using HP as a resource there. Love seeing that from Wallace. And he takes full advantage. What a play from Wallace here, who will open this thing up and might have just done enough here. Graveyard in, and that should be enough. I think he connects here. Arrows in, and that might not be officially the game, but it would be crazy here to see a win the opposite direction. Snowball has to come out on defense. Wallace celebrates, arrows in. GG, well played. Wallace knocks out Faust here after a phenomenal performance. And let's go ahead and look at the ending here and see how Wallace got it done. And you're going to see a lot of the damage come in on the left-hand side. You see a little tick of the head as Wallace was maybe a little uncomfortable with that exchange. And he eats a ton of damage here, waiting for the arrows. But remember, folks, and I've said this before in videos, HP is a resource. Wallace chooses to spend some right there, take a little damage, let the arrows do the cleanup, and focus his elixir on offense. And look at the eyebrow raise there of Faust. Faust just knowing he got. And those arrows put it within range. Let's look at that one more time here. So watch this calculation. You're going to see the push from Faust on the left-hand side. Drill comes in, and the bomber comes in, right? That's 7. And now, just going to spend 3 to defend that, meaning you've given yourself a nice elixir lead on the right-hand side. And look at that. Faust has no elixir for this. Prediction Snowball comes out knowing that's the only way to deal with it. I mean, that is a perfect sequence. Perfect sequence for Wallace. And Faust knows it. Very nicely done. Beautiful sequence. And they did just show you that Wallace moves on the lower bracket. But then they cut away from it here. onto our upper bracket, which will be seen tomorrow. Let me just go ahead and make a note here. There we go. Made a little note on that replay. What a replay there. Yo-Yo saying just to bug Rich a bit, Ice Golem's probably the worst card in the game. Evo Ice Golem, please. I don't hate Evo Ice Golem. I don't hate Evo Ice Golem. If we're to have Evos, I don't hate Evo Ice Golem. Why don't they just ban card in the season for ranked, kind of like the boosted cards? That's interesting. P-Brain, that's an interesting idea. Is leave all the cards leave cards alone in regular play, in whatever you call it, the ladder, trophy road, but then each season ban a selection of cards for ranked play. That's fascinating for Path of Legends. I don't hate that. I wonder how they decide what that's going to be, but I don't hate that. Here we go. Our next elimination matchup, Morton and Adnan. Let's go. Dr. Boom, are the lower bracket players committed for top prize as well? Yes. The winner of the lower bracket will face the winner of the upper bracket because this is a double elimination tournament. You need to lose twice to be knocked out of the tournament. You see Adnan there checking out the Evo Skellies, and a nice little activation of the Golden Knight ability to hit 1,000 things. A little pinball action there. Susie says, I think it's going to be bad for one-trick players. Well, you know, what is the answer? Any change is going to be bad for somebody. But one tricks might have to learn a new trick. I don't know. Adnan's pressure has just been nasty here. And that's going to be some goblin damage for Morton. Morton does not have a good drill response here in this deck. And that's been the challenge he's facing in this matchup. Really funky drill wall breakers deck here if you look at it. Triple spell, no tank. The only splash damage being the log or the bomber. I don't have a current deck right now, Biohazard. I need to figure out what I want to play next season. I might play that 6-loon deck. That looked fun. That's a nice little lineup there. Puts the game very close. But how does Morton deal with this in front of him? Has to log to clean up 658 to 704. Morton playing a really weird... I mean, I'm sure this deck is in the meta right now because, like I said, I've been on a bit of a sabbatical. But a really weird, to me, version of drill. And I think he's going to win this one here. Just has to get poisoned down. Going to drill instead. And there you go. What a wacky deck there out of Morton. GG, well played. Look at the lower bracket here. Ta and Wallace into tomorrow. Guaranteed money, top 8. Morton needs one more win here to knock out Adnan and put himself in the money. P-Brain's idea for Pathologic is spot on. I think they should implement only for top 10K, maybe. Something like that. Yeah, like once you make Ultimate Champion, I don't know, maybe. But it is certainly feels like a kind of idea that could be interesting. My guess is that they'll want to separate it though, because again, people will be upset. Folks, check out the new channel, all about the Disc Golf Pro Tour, frisbee golf. For those of you who throwing these things at baskets with chains in them. Well, I still think that's so cool. That's so funny with like the green screen there on this one. Either way, Disc Golf Pro Tour, free fantasy. You can play along. We're launching that fairly soon. Check out the new channel. It's a good way. It's a nice, easy way to support me and the new thing that I'm doing for fun. No, not only for Ultimate Champion. Yeah, yeah. I feel probably right. Rich, what's your favorite legendary? Magic Archer. That's an easy question. How come some cards are banned in CRL Warmup? Only the Cannoneer is banned because it's not in the in-game duel mode. Who do I think will win in this one? Morton. Let's see. Adnan only had 1 Evo? I guess so. This meta is so stale. I actually don't know. I'm just starting my my workouts for getting ready for the CRL season right now. So I'll let you know how I feel. But we've seen a decent variety of decks overall in this tournament. There's definitely been some things they've leaned on. What do you think Hog's Evo is going to be? 2 hammers? I don't know. When is the next update? I don't know. How many games left? This is our second to last match. We have this matchup, Adnan and Morton. And then, as you can see, we have Adriel and Clown as our final match of the day. And then tomorrow, our top 8 play for the championship. Legend CR saying, wait, what were you talking about? The idea of creating some variety in Path of Legends by each season vaulting a set of cards to create a specific meta for that season. Although that might create its own set of problems, right? You might have even more stale gameplay because of that vaulting, so who knows? Oh boy. Loon for Loon. Adnan does get a double drop here on the right-hand side. Is Morton playing Zap? He is, and Morton will get his set of drops on the opposite side here. Low guards to avoid the initial bomber attack. Morton has to pick this up. He will with the Evo Knight. Knows it'll get burned pretty nicely, though. And now Loon in opposite direction. Morton does have Inferno Tower, and you see the reaction from Adnan. The wow. The wow. You saw him immediately go like, oh, come on. And here's how hard it is to balance the game, right? So you see one person saying, that'd be fun, and one person saying, dumb idea. There is no right decision when you're trying to make Clash Royale fun for people. Oh, mistimed the arrows. Morton a little bit off on the arrows here. The Evo Knight will hold a lot of the damage off, but the big damage done. And Adnan just getting it done with a little lava loon here. Morton does get some good damage back, but that mistimed arrows was a huge problem. The super zap. And now arrows have to come out. Loon's trying to block and then also go the opposite direction here. Fireball. Evo Zap will not be enough. Morton tries to get a miner in. The pickup not there with the Evo Knight. Zap not enough, and that's going to be 1-1 by 139. There you have it. So game 3 coming up pretty soon between these two. What do you think about like 3,000 players in a league, and at the end of the season, the top 500 or 100,000 be upgraded to the next league, separated from Trophy Run and Path of Legends? I think that's cool. I think that would be a cool idea to have a promotion relegation system season by season. That would be interesting. I wonder how the pros would feel about that, having like that full season like that, but that would be interesting. A no beatdown season? Maybe. Let's see. Where does Rick go between these tourneys? He suddenly shows up for these, and it's always fun. Yeah, I mean, I got a life, dude. But I wanted to take some time off. There weren't any of these big tournaments happening for a while. Early, like, you know, the last thing I cast was in December, and then there was nothing in January. And I was supposed to cast the qualifier in February, and then I got sick right before the qualifier. I had to have someone else fill in for me. And then the previous 2 weekends for this tournament, I just wasn't in town. I wasn't available, so I couldn't do them. But here I am. And there'll be a lot more Clash Royale esports here, of course, throughout the year. And if you want to check out my new venture, the new thing I'm doing, disc golf. Lori Schumacher saying, did you know that Lincoln, Nebraska Frisbee Golf Course is one of the top 100 in the world? Which course in Lincoln, Nebraska? I didn't know that. What's the best overall card in the game right now? I don't know. Hog Cycle isn't toxic. Try winning a GC. Fair enough. And somebody, let's see. Morton missed arrows. Yeah, he timed them wrong and let a bunch of pups, lava pups, get all over his tower and kind of ruin the game for him. I love the music. What track is it? I don't remember what it's from. It's from Epidemic Sounds. I don't know what the track is specifically. Let me see if I can find it. What is this? What is this specific track called? I don't know which one's playing right now. It's probably by an artist called Lupus Nocte, who does a bunch of this kind of sounding stuff on, what's the thing called? Epidemic Sounds. What's up, Rich? Stuff knows a little bit better today. A little better today. Not great. Here we go. Game number 3. There's only one course in Lincoln, Nebraska. That seems wrong. No, there are a ton of courses in Lincoln. I think Beal Slaw is the one you're talking about, but there are, in Lincoln proper, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 just in Lincoln proper, and then when you get in the outskirts, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, yeah. Way more than just one in Lincoln. A little log bait from Adnan here. Log bait against Morton is a fun choice. I appreciate the gumption here. Mother Witch will create some pressure the opposite direction. Valk not going to prevent that much damage. And really doubling down here behind the Fish Boy is Morton. Poison has to come out high, and he's happy. He's happy with that. Morton's going to come out ahead by 6 elixir. Probably going to go ahead and drop the RG. There you go, behind the King Tower, as he has so much opportunity now to build up. And Monk does go into reflection mode long enough for that Inferno Tower to get almost all the way burned down. Barb Barrel to clear here. And this is real trouble for Adnan. He's going to take one, I think, here. No, the Evo Valk able to prevent that shot from getting off. And now Morton has to contend with both the Skelly Barrel and the Barb Barrel. Going to take some Skelly Barrel damage here, some real Skelly Barrel damage. And now just like that, Adnan back in the lead by about 600 HP. Inferno Tower should be more than back in cycle, but I don't know if he's even going to play it here. It is Evo RG. He might need it. Instead, goes for the knockback and takes no damage. Very nicely done from Adnan here. Barb Barrel to clear. Good read by Morton on the inside placement. And now sets up classic Royal Giant way in the back here. Mother Witch finally becoming a factor again. Mother Witch is where he has had the most success. Evo Bats cleanly handle the Evo Skellies. And no Barb Barrel play here. Instead, going Mother Witch. Wants to get that one back involved, but the poison value is serious here. Gonna have to find some way to stop the Inferno Tower from ruining this push. Evo Valk actually will be the bigger problem. Evo Valk just shutting down these RG pushes. Morton unable to break through here in the later stages of the game, and that looks like it's gonna be a win. You see the big celebration, and Adnan knocking out Morton right before the money. Winning with Lavaloon and then Logbait. You gotta imagine that's gonna be in the German chat today. What a performance by Adnan. GG, well played. And very well done. Those arrows were a big problem. Rick, your top players top 5 right now? It's too early to tell. We'll have to wait until we're a little bit deeper into the season. Let's look at the bracket. As Morton is knocked out here. And on into our top 8. He'll await the winner of Adriel and Clown. Our final match of the day coming up next will be Adriel and Clown. I just lowered the slow mode, folks, so you can chat a little bit faster now. Defense on point, but bait OP against selected matchups. I feel you on that one. What a turnaround in Game 3 by Adnan. Absolutely. Double bait poison. It's a real deck. Well, won a real game. Sometimes you have to think outside the box when making these dual decks. Absolutely. No questions there. No lies detected in that one. Upper bracket matchups tomorrow. Vitor, Droy, Pedro, Muhammad Light. One more matchup today. Here we go. There was a time when Morton was one of the best players in the game. Why is he struggling like this now? He's still one of the best players in the game. It's one tournament. This is the most "what have you done for me lately" game. It's so funny. Is Clown better than Sandbox? That's a good question. I think that I mean, Sandbox had some good performances last year. I think Clown was maybe more consistent. Time will tell. Easy King Tower activation there. And I might try this deck that Adriel's playing. I love anytime you can do Drill Magic Archer. Interesting to see Golden Knight back in the mix after the buff, with the ability being on a shorter cooldown, 11 seconds down to 8 seconds. Why do I not play CRL? Because I'm a caster. That's my job. And I like it. And I'm also not good enough. I'm not as good as these players. I am a professional talk out louder. Drill coming in on the left-hand side. Might go low here. No, goes high with the Ghost right behind it. Thought you might see a little bit of a spread out there. Didn't see one. Clown now going to go to the safe spot here with the Miner. Magic Archer's first hit 1/10 of a second faster after the update. Final minute, big lead for Clown, 12:06 and 19:25. And that's what he needs to avoid. He has to defend drills, obviously, but he really needs to avoid giving up a big Magic Archer lineup. And here he gives up another one. Bomb tower high. And this damage is legit. This is serious damage here. Suddenly, it is Adriel in the lead. Clown now trying to push the opposite direction. Clown with a slight lead here. 1787. And the Royal Ghost doesn't get the pickup, but does mitigate the damage here. I don't know if I love this Magic Archer. Is he trying to get Magic Archer damage here? Not going to get it. Drill in. Log ill-timed. The Goblins don't do it, doesn't matter. And just like that, Adriel takes the win in game number 1. Let's go ahead and take a look at those final moments. So here you have it. The connection on the right-hand side gives Clown the lead. Great Golden Knight to prevent the Magic Archer lineup. Adriel now goes the opposite direction. Bomb tower up high. You see the Magic Archer come here trying to hope to get on the bomb tower. Doesn't get there. But the drill, and you see one big connection, but it's the Evo Bomber able to get the one toss and steal that win away. Let's look at that Evo Bomber one more time here. And you see the Evo Bomber right at the bridge with the drill, super annoying, and the NATO pulls all that together. So that's the interesting combination here of the Evo Bomber with the Magic Archer, is you think, hey, Magic Archer's out of cycle. I'm safe here from the Magic Archer NATO combination. Well, guess what? When Evo Bomber's in cycle, it's even more dangerous than a Magic Archer. And that's just devastation there. You can see the damage coming on their bottom right-hand side. Right, 689. That's a lot of damage that has to be made up for. And that's not enough there. That is That is. And that is. Game number 1 for Adriel. We're almost done here. Let's see. Imagine having a card that is OP, and instead of nerfing it, you can just bat it for some reason to see what people come up with. Bat it? What does that mean? Let's see. Sorry if you asked, already my bad. What card do you think should be the next Evo? And what card shouldn't have been made an Evo? I never thought about that, really. I don't spend much time thinking about that kind of stuff, to be honest. What card should be the next Evo? Ice Golem. What shouldn't have been an Evo? Recruits. Boom. Actually, easy answer. There you go. There you go. Didn't take long to get there at all.
Doing it for the fam.
Doing it for the fam. I'll tell you what. Not as annoying as the Aviary when there were 1,000 Phoenixes on the board, but still not great. Is there a zap here? There is. Loon connects. Adriel out to an early lead. Shamir, how do they calculate the rank? That rank is not what their overall rank is. That is their. It's not well. It's not. The syntax is kind of weird in translation, but that's their rating in ranked. It's not what they are. That's not what their current rank is, right? So it's not that he's ranked 3,000 something. It's his number of trophies in ranked is 3,000 something. Every pro having difficulty with consistency at the moment because Evos are unbelievably difficult to play. Yeah, like double Evos are a lot. Evos overall are complicated. I think double Evos are a bit too much. I don't mind the idea of Evos. I think that Evos overall are a bit too strong. I understand why they made them too strong, but they're a bit too strong in my opinion. But I think double Evos are too chaotic. I think it arcadifies the game a bit. Most fun in-game sound voice. Ice Golem, Ice Spirit, not Ice Spirit, Ice Wizard and Electro Wizard are both pretty good. Fisherman's funny too. Oh, that's a connection. Big connection. Clown takes a huge lead. The elixir avatar next to the deck analysis means what is the average elixir for that deck across all 8 cards. What's the average cost per card? Here we go, final 2 minutes. Clown so far so good. Should be a loon push here from Adriel. Going to super zap this. Snowball to push back, but Skelly Drags don't both look at the right direction. Still barely able to save that for Clown. Oh, what a play by Adriel there. I don't know if it's going to result in much, but you see the idea he was going for. This should be it, though. This should be going to a game number 3. You see Adriel kind of going, all right, here we are. Game 3 coming up. Let's go. Is this how you get timed out for spamming the same question 8 times? Kaboom. No, it's not how you get the spectator badge. My word, people. Oh, my bad again. You mean the Elixir avatar that's on like on the game screen? Is that what you mean? That shows Elixir leaked during the game. What is the best free-to-play deck for basically any arena? I don't know. There are many content creators who make that kind of content. I do specifically esports content. Yeah, that should be the Elixir leaked, I believe, there. That one. Any Volton with little GGs in here. Folks, we are jumping into our final game of the day here in a second. My new channel for disc golf has now reached 79 subscribers. It would be very cool if 21 of you would go to that new channel and click subscribe. And maybe you'll fall in love with disc golf the way I have. I hope you check it out. But there you go. How to get into the game, Rich? Same as most people. I was playing Clash of Clans, and then they said, hey, new game coming out, Clash Royale. And I clicked it and started playing, and I've been playing since it came out, since it went global. And then I got into casting here when they were looking for CRL casters. I answered the open casting call and went through a series of auditions, and there you go. Has the CRL format changed this year? Will the same number of players qualify? As far as I'm aware, we have a slightly shorter season, like fewer monthly finals, but the monthly finals are the same format. And the World Finals has only 8 players rather than 16. That's as much as I understand. Wait, vocabulary time. What is Elixir leaked? Elixir leaked is how much Elixir. It's actually on your game screen in the bottom right corner when you're playing. It's how much when you reach 10, how much Elixir ticks away and you don't actually use. How much you have your Elixir bar when it hits 10 and it starts blinking. That means you're leaking Elixir. You are letting Elixir be wasted. Sometimes you do that on purpose to make sure that you're timing a move correctly. Sometimes you do it at the beginning of the game when you and your opponent both are kind of in a stalemate. And sometimes it's bad to do that. So there you go. What's my favorite Usher song? You Make Me Wanna. There you go. Because that just goes back to the old school right there. Best Japanese CRL player. That's an easy answer. That's Mugi. Siak versus Muhammad Light, who wins? That's not even worth asking that question. Let's see. Final season tournament starts. This means to see you a lot. Yep, I'm excited. Is way better like that. No, I think that I don't like the change to 8 players. I think a 12-player final might have been a good change. So there you go. But I think 8 is too few. Hey, you jumped up to 88 subscribers. Whoa, folks. 12 away on my new channel from hitting 100 subs. That's really cool. A little easy King Tower activation there. Nerd Alert saying, hot take, 2016 Clash Royale was so much tougher than now. Feels like flashy gameplay, less strategic. No, I think that just about every pro player would say that's different. Now, right now, it's specifically with EVOs. Right now, that's kind of an interesting question. But even then, no, I think that the 45-card version of Clash Royale was much simpler than this version. This is the last match of the day, folks. Certainly hope you enjoy it. And Andy Volton saying not into disc golf yet. Hopefully you get into it. It's a great way to inexpensively go play compete, go outside, enjoy nature a little bit. We'll talk more about it as soon as this game is over. First, we have a game 3 here between Clown and Adriel. Clown does have double buildings to contend with the RG if he uses that drill on defense. Jack Nicholson, forehand or backhand, depends on the hole. I can drive further with backhand, but I often... Oh, here we go. RG does get picked up by the Tesla. I'll answer that question afterwards. And the Zap does not get the reset, but does prevent most of the damage here. I thought that was the lightning for a second. My bad. Don't read chat in these final 90 seconds here, Rich. 13-15 to 15-60. And Evo Firecracker, this is interesting. Clown wants to stop the Phoenix. There you go. So he wants to stop the Phoenix but not get the Evo Firecracker aiming to the right-hand side, so he chooses to do it by kind of kiting with the Skelly Barrel, and going to get some good damage here. Evo Bowler does not get the lineup, 958 anyway. Clown with a big lead here over Adriel in the final 60. Ooh, little mistime there on the skeleton on the Skelly Barrel with the log. Down to 501 now. Royal Giant in on the left-hand side. Tesla back in cycle. Lightning does not get the Tesla. Skelly Barrel to the right-hand lane. 976 to 501. 32 seconds left. Drill in. Skeletons picked up. Fishboy high. Poison down. Log early. Goblins do not get on tower. Poison will do its damage, though. 21 seconds left. And prediction, Evo Skeletons against the Royal Giant. Huge, huge play by Clown. And that is enough to secure the victory here. And Clown knocks out the world finalist, Adriel, and will make it into our top 8. Very nicely played by Clown here. Let's go ahead and look at the replay here. And you see, Adriel just had a little bit of timing trouble on some of these skeleton barrels, which resulted in a lot of the damage that you see there. Just was a little out of sorts for a lot of this. And this might not have been even a comeback possibility, but the prediction Evo Skellies just give no chance to Adriel here. Royal Giant done. And that's it. So, tomorrow, we are back for the last day, top 8. We have Vitor and Droy, also known as Mr. Cena, in the winner's bracket on one side. Pedro and Mohammed Light in the winner's bracket on the other side. And then we'll take a look at the lower bracket here in just a moment. And 93 subs on the new YouTube channel, folks. I really do hope that you give it a true checkout. You truly take a look at it. What's your favorite card? Ice Golem. Let me go ahead and answer the questions here. Any thoughts on Separate Development Clash Mini? I didn't really love the game. I don't know why it did or did. It just didn't reach the level that they would think to go global. I played it for a little while and just didn't fall in love with it. I think that that kind of game is already a very niche game, right? The auto battlers are very niche, and that type of auto battler was even more niche. So I guess they're rolling it into Clash Royale, which I don't really get, but I guess they're trying to not have it be wasted development, so we'll see. 1-2 saying, I play disc golf a few times a week, been playing since 93. You started a little bit earlier than I did, but I do have a 5-digit PDGA number, 32975. So pretty early PDGA number, and I've been playing for years before that. But yeah, hope you check out the channel, the Disc Golf Pro Tour. It's all about it. So it's pretty fun. What I think is the best evolution? I don't know. Let's look at the lower bracket here for a second. Ta and Wallace face off tomorrow for elimination, followed by Adnan and Clown. I don't know if that's the order. I don't know what the order will be, but those are our 2 elimination matches already. Remember, top 8 make $500. You have to make top 4 to get into the next level of our prize pool. You have to make it to top 4 to get $1,000, and then third place up to first place, $1,500, $3,500, and $7,500, respectively, if you can make it up to that level. So we'll see who can get it done. All right, a couple more questions here to answer. Can you still get the spectator badge? Not the current one, but I think maybe in the future. Sub to your new channel with 2 accounts. Oh, well, thank you. Hopefully you watch the new channel, right? That would be really helpful. Check it out. Hope you enjoy it. Let's see. Where else did I see? Oh, name the disc golf channel. Yep, cool. I added it in there. I'll put it up here one more time. Hopefully you guys like it. How is it still the exact same players on the top 5 for the last 5 years? That's not even close to true, Zigzag Nemesis. For the last 5 years, the same players. None of the players who were top 5 years ago are still, except for Morton, none of the players who were top 5 years ago, which would be 2019, are still top 5 now. So that's not true. The last few years, right, since we went to solos, it's kind of been that same way. Since 21, 22, 23. Been kind of consistent, been relatively consistent. What is the disc? It's for disc golf, right? Throwing frisbees at baskets with chains hanging down. Like golf, but with frisbees. There you go. That's what it is. Let me answer a couple more questions before I end this thing. I'm stuck in Arena 16. Any deck recommendations? Whichever deck gets you the most wins. Do you think the Tower Troops should always have the same level as King? I think that Tower Troops... I don't like Tower Troops. I think it takes the one constant and disrupts it, which I don't really love as a core game feature. It could be interesting as like a sub-game feature, but as a core game feature, I'm not super duper into it. He means 5 seasons? Even then. Is Ian playing? Ian got eliminated earlier on in the tournament. What's the best complimentary draw for Mega Knight? I don't know what even you mean by that. People always ask about the spectator badge a lot, which is hilarious to me. How can Morton improve more than he is right now? That's a question for Morton and his coach, not for me. So there you go. That's all I had to say on that one. Folks, 96 subs on the new channel. I really appreciate it. That's very cool. Hopefully you've also joined here on this channel. We are back tomorrow. The grand finals for this event. Top 8 players playing for that grand prize of $7,500. That will be tomorrow, right here, same place. We will see the culmination of this tournament and be done with it. So for everybody here who's here right now, I really appreciate you being here. Like, subscribe to the channel. Check out the new channel if you're interested in it. And make sure you come back here tomorrow so we can all enjoy the championship together. As always, be excellent to each other and party on, dude. Peace.